Hey Josh, how's it going, bro?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Staying warm over here. Is it raining over there in San Diego?
Hell yeah, bro. Shit, dude, it's been like fucking raining all goddamn day.
Dude, man, it's horrible. I can't deal with this rain. Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
Hold on. Just so I
okay,
can use
gotcha,
my laptop at the same
gotcha.
time. All right.
Perfect, bro. All right, cool. So let's see if everything's good here. I just want to make sure the connection's good. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, cool. So we should be good to go. But yeah, dude, I was saying it's super cold today because I'm not used to this rain at all. I feel like it's been so long since the last time it actually rained, and like last night it was like, dude, freezing. Now,
Dude, like the last few days, it's been like sprinkling, at least down here, right? It's been sprinkling on and off. And yesterday it was like pouring like in like bursts, right? Like every like few hours it would just pour for like 10 minutes and then it would subside, stop, and then pour again. Like, I mean, shit, remember when Southern California was in a drought like a couple
I
of
know,
years
right?
ago? it
Yeah,
was like it was like code red, dude. Like, oh, there's not enough water to like, survive. And then now it's like you haven't heard that shit in a long ass time.
I know, dude. I feel like last year it started raining a lot, and then this year it kind of slowed down a bit. I feel like during COVID, during COVID it seemed like it didn't really rain that much, but the year before that, it was like raining like crazy, like every single day. I remember I used to work in like in Mission Hills, like where it's like really hilly,
Yeah, yeah,
and dude, like it would flood there all the time. There was like one time I was working at this one place, and my car actually got flooded because it was like flooded, and the water was to my door. So
yeah.
when I opened the door, dude, the water went straight into my car. It was horrible.
Oh god. Yeah, dude, like when I first, because I grew up in the Bay Area, right? I moved out to San Diego, I think like 2004, but I lived out in like, I don't know if you know where East Lake's at.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
no,
yeah. So I was living out in East Lake, and I had a part-time job at Macy's in Fashion Valley, bro.
dude, all the
And
way down there.
dude, in the raining season, it would suck. Like that off ramp from the 805 to the 8, like people would be getting in car crashes in there when it would rain. And like that little right where the Macy's is at Fashion Valley, like I'd always park on the bottom, so that thing would always get flooded. And I drove a 92 Honda Civic back then.
Dude, I'm
So it
surprised
was
you made it
just
through. You made it
it
through
was
those floods.
it was terrible, man. It was terrible. So
Yeah, dude, I miss San Diego, man. I wish I could move back. Well, I mean, I technically could, but I think right now, just because of COVID and stuff, I'm just gonna hang around here. But I definitely want to move back at some point
yeah,
eventually. So where are you at now
yeah,
in San Diego? Are you like still around East Lake?
yeah. I'm in Chula Vista. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yes,
so
you're further south.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm like right in the middle of like old Chula Vista, like between the 5 and the 805. So
nice.
uh,
Yeah, that's pretty cool because you're like away from everything, and you're still not too far, but you're away from like downtown and stuff like that.
yeah, just hopping on the freeway, literally. So
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Does the trolley go all the way down there, or does it? I don't think it cuts in that deep, right?
it doesn't go into IB, but it goes to San Ysidro where the Las
Border.
Americas, yeah, Las Americas, where the outlets are at.
Yeah,
So that's the last stop right there. So
yeah, dude. I used to take that all the time because I used to live in downtown, so I would take that trolley for like $5, go to Mexico, and then make my way
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. I used to. Oh man, just that now it's like a no go to cross, man. Especially for my job. Like I work in a nonprofit. I do case management for homeless individuals. Right, they're 18 to 24-year olds. I do some case management, but our agency is really big on if you leave the county, you need to let us know, and you possibly have to like quarantine and all this other stuff.
Dang.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty
super
nuts.
serious. That's super serious for you, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. So like, let's see. For this session today, what should we be talking about? Do you have anything specific that you want to cover? Anything that you need help with?
Yeah, so for sure, I'm like, because um, so I paid for my FTMO, right, and then
Mhm.
we had those back-to-back L's on the US 30.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm not even tripping out about it, right? But I'm just like, damn, should I have waited to purchase, right, the challenge like in January, or is like, like I guess one of my questions would be like, what does the market typically do in the first 2 weeks of the new year, right? Is it like super volatile, or is it like crazy spikes here and there, or does it especially with it's like a transition of presidency, right? And I can only imagine the amount of tweets that this Mr. Trump is going to do that's going to just like manipulate kind of like the market and whatnot. So I'm like, fuck, man, like, should I have waited? Or I think I have until, like, if I look at it, I think I have until the 19th. Yeah, I have until January 19th before my challenge actually ends. So, because even you said that, like, taking back-to-back L's is not even like that. That's pretty rare, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's pretty.
exactly.
So I'm not necessarily worried about, because I'm. Let me see. Yeah, I'm 3,000, right? Negative 3,000 out of the 10.
Mhm.
So
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to really tell because we're like in a total different like time where like normally in the beginning of the year it's kind of slow during like the first couple of days. Probably the first week is pretty slow and then it picks up. But the difference with this year is like you mentioned, we have the transition with presidents, and then on top of that, COVID it has a huge impact on
yeah,
the market. So yeah, like you mentioned, like Trump, those losses that we had, a lot of those were due to like that thing that Trump did when he didn't want to sign the bill.
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
supposed to go up, and then it ended up just triggering a stop loss, and it shot straight to TP. So I was like, that was something that couldn't have been avoided.
Correct.
But in general, I uh, I don't think there's anything that you could have done better, honestly. Because it could have totally went the opposite way. You could have had two back-to-back wins, and then it would have been a whole different story. So like in reality, I did the same thing. I actually started my third challenge the same time you did. So I actually ate those losses as well. I'm in some drawdown for that account, but I definitely think that we will, definitely be bouncing back sometime soon, especially with the new addition to the strategy. Like today, if we took this sell entry right here, uh, we would have been in some drawdown right now. And good thing that I applied the new strategy or the new addition to the strategy that I was mentioning, because if I didn't, we probably would have been in some heavy drawdown at this point because it didn't hit TP1, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's like it's obviously in some drawdown right now. So TP1 would have been right here, been super close, but it didn't hit it. And then now at this point, it's like in some super drawdown. It's halfway to a
stop
stop loss
loss.
if we were to take this trade. So thankfully, I used that new addition to the strategy so we could avoid this entry here. Um, and I ended up taking the buy anyways. Because I also I incorporated other fundamentals into it. Like usually towards the end of the year, the US 30 usually closes pretty bullish.
Yeah,
So that's why I just took that buy, and I'm basically just holding a buy right now, thinking about maybe holding it until the end of the year because I think it's going to keep pushing up. So I think overall you should be fine because I'm going to be very careful with the calls right now. Like I'm not really calling many trades because of how the market's moving. And I'm just trying to be very careful because towards the end of the year, you'll start to see like some weird movement in the market. So I think overall you
yeah,
should be good. You should be good. But yeah, in reality, there was really nothing that we could have done to really prevent it. Because even myself, I took those trades and I took those losses. But I know that we'll bounce back from those. That's why I'm just trying to take it as easy as possible because I don't want to take any of these unnecessary trades. Like even for this right here, during US session, it barely even moved. Like US session opened right here, and then it barely moved about, a total of, oh, actually, that wasn't even up to the 1500 hour here. So it barely moved like maybe about 1500 pips one way or the other, but not
yeah.
enough for it to like actually hit PP or something like that. So volatility is super low. Hopefully it picks up soon, but it's probably not going to pick up until maybe next week. I think the first week of January might be pretty volatile. I think because there's a lot of people that are just like playing it safe right now. So I feel like a lot of people are really tempted to hop in the market. So I think on the 4th, which is Monday after next, or no, I think it's next Monday actually. Yeah, the 4th is next Monday. I think we're going to have some pretty decent volatility in the market. Hopefully that'll be enough for us to possibly bounce back, or maybe even tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we get a buy signal, I'll probably take that, and I think that will definitely help push our positions up where they need to be. Because I think if we could at least knock out one win before the end of the year, you'll be in a much better place. Because in reality, even if you don't get that full TP, like the full 10,000, if you close in net positive, so if you just go like $1 over in positive, they'll give you a brand new account to redo it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that happens, that's that's worst case scenario. You'll just have to redo it again the following month, and
Yeah.
that's better than having to lose the account. So
Yeah, because like I'm not even like I'm not necessarily like tripping out about like, oh shit, like I gotta get it before the 19th. I guess my thing was like, damn, like should I have waited just because taking a trade or not taking a trade is better than taking a bad trade, right? Like
exactly.
So I guess that's where I'm like 50-50, like damn it, but I guess I saw too that starting tomorrow, they're supposed to give traders an additional 10 days to trade. So
oh yeah, exactly. That's definitely a plus, because that's definitely I'm sure that they realized that the last week of November and then into like the last weeks of December, there was gonna be some iffiness with the market, especially with the volatility dying down.
yeah,
Last week for Christmas, and then again this week, like basically back to back weeks where we're not really going to be trading much. So I think that's definitely going to help. So they'll probably give you time to reset, and then basically just push on for another. I guess when did you start yours? You started yours, I'm assuming, like last week, right?
Yeah. Let me see. It says right here the 21st.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you started on the 21st. You like literally started when the market started to die down. So there's nothing we could have done about that. But it should pick up back next Monday on the 4th. So I think at that point you should be good, because you only have 2 losses. So from there you can probably have 2 wins next week that will bounce it back, or maybe 3 wins in some instances. And then from there, I think we should be pretty much good for the most part. The next holiday is going to be MLK Day on the 18th.
Yeah.
So that should be good. And the inauguration day is going to be on the 20th. So that's going to be the same week. So I think for the most part, you should be good. You should probably be able to bounce back next week for sure. And then if we have a good week following that, actually next week should be really good, because I think it's NFP week, and NFP week is usually really good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that includes I've been staying up for London, man. I've just been I've been setting alarms, man. I'm trying to develop, because I mean shit, dude. I think I joined back in like March, right? I think that's what happened, bro. Like it was a birthday gift to myself. True story. I paid for my 2K subscription. I was like, you know what, dude? Like this is a birthday gift to me, right?
Yeah.
So because my birthday's in March, so but ever since then, like I've been, especially these last like let's say like 30 days or whatnot, I want to go into this 2020 with like certain habits of like, if I have to set an alarm like at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning just to quickly check my phone or anything like that on Trading View. Like, so I caught some W's on the London session
Nice.
with the group and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, the UK session has been like pretty on point. Like I kind of want to stay up. I've been trying to stay up. Honestly, I stay up like till 12 sometimes, and then once it hits like 12:30, dude, I'm knocked out. So I can't even stay up for so long, pretty much throughout the day.
I bet. I think the last decent signal from London was like at 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it was like, damn, dude. I just remember like I heard the actual like the notification. I was just like, wait, what fucking time is it? Oh shit, it's like 4 a.m. Damn. That took a long ass time.
Yeah, dude, it sucks because London session is probably the best session. I was just talking to Varun in the last session because he's in India, so it actually works out perfectly for him because London session is like midday for him when it opens. So he trades literally from London session into New York session. He hits like all these profits during that time because the
Damn.
mobility is so high. I was like, man, I'm so jealous. Like I wish we had that luxury. I mean, technically we could if we really wanted to, but I don't know if I want to exchange my health for like, staying up for
Right.
profit.
I know. Is it there? There's this thing that I read. It's like back in the day, like the geniuses of the geniuses would only they'd be on the sleep cycle of like 3 hours on, right? They would sleep for like 15 minutes or whatever, and then stay up for 3 hours, sleep for another 15 minutes, stay up for 3 hours. Like I forget what it was
Yeah,
called,
yeah,
but
no, yeah. I used to do that actually when I was in law school. I used to sleep in intervals.
yeah,
But dude, came to a point where it caught up to me. Like it was good for like a couple months. I was feeling great, wide awake, and then it came to a point where I just crashed. Because I literally crashed, and my body felt like shit for like a whole like couple of weeks. And I was like, I'm never doing it
damn.
again. It's really hard because once you start to fall off pattern, like if you're doing it every day, it's cool. But if you fall off the pattern like one day, your whole body goes into like basically shut down. So I could never do that again at all.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah. I I I think about it all the time, right? I'm just like, like you could do it, Josh. Like you could do it, man. Like you could take an hour nap at your lunch, like all this stuff. Because my job right now is pretty flexible. Like I have the ability to like work off site, work remotely or whatever, right? So there are times where I'll just be looking at charts all day, like
nice.
not even like working, but I'm like,
Yeah, that was
I
pretty much what I was doing when I was at my law firm, the last law firm. I was literally not doing any law work for like maybe the past like maybe the past year. And it got to a point where I was just like, man, I gotta quit this job. And I finally left and it was the best decision ever, honestly. Because now I'm super happy here. I have a better outlook on life for the most part. I'm not stressed out. So it's been a good time for the most part. And hopefully you can get to that point too soon enough.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know. Like, I'm like, because this nonprofit work, dude. Do I see a lot of like crazy shit, dude? I was just telling like my brother and my dad last week, man. Like, a lot of my clients are like, because they come from that homeless background. They're just heavy on drugs, man. Like fentanyl. I had one of my clients like that was on fentanyl, and it was just like, dude, this fool was like hallucinating. Like he didn't know if he was a boy or a girl. Like
What?
just like crazy psychedelic trip, man. And I'm at
Damn.
that point. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm at that point where it's just like, like I think I did my time. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
I've done my time, and I've been nice enough to help individuals out. I need to start focusing on me. So
Yeah, exactly. And it just comes to a point where you start to change and you know what you really want, or you want that freedom. It's really, I think the big thing for me was like the freedom of time, because the thing is I was working like 10, 12-hour days at my firm. And it was like,
yeah,
dude, it was like so demanding. And I was still worried I was gonna get fired like every single day. So it came to a point where I was just like, I'm tired of dealing with this. And I ended up, just going off on my own and trading. And I was like, man, it's such a relief that I found something that I actually like to do. Because like for me, trading is actually really fun. Like for some people, it seems like a tedious job, but for me, it's like it doesn't even feel like work at all. And then the profits like are also a huge plus compared to working a normal job, I guess.
yeah. I feel the same way too, man. It's not one of those I wish. It's like when I get, right, because sometimes you gotta breathe life into what you want. So it's like when I get to that point, because when I first started, dude, I had made, I think I had turned like 1,500 into like 6 grand, just kind of using the
Playing around, right?
strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah, just playing around, like still working my full-time job. But even my full-time job, it was just enough to cover like my necessities, right? So I
Mhm.
had to I had to freaking take out my trading money to pay for my daughter's like private school tuition.
Oh man.
So ever since then, dude, I have not I haven't had any money to like trade. Like, and that was like months ago. That was since the summer. That was like in July. So
Oh,
from
that's pretty recent.
July,
Yeah, pretty recent.
yeah. So from July to last week, when I finally was able to muster up, like the 500-600 bucks for the FTMO, I was just like, you know what, like, all right, let's do it. Like, so everyone's got a backstory, but it was just like, damn, I had to take out that. I had to take it out. I didn't have a choice, and but hopefully with this funded account, it'll give me a little bit more wiggle room to take care of some business and whatnot.
Yeah, I do definitely 100%. There's a lot of once you start to get really consistent with your funded account, like I'm not sure how like business savvy you are, but I could definitely help you out with a lot of business stuff to help decrease cost for the most part with a lot of your stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a ton of loopholes that I can help you with that you're going to be really happy about, especially with your daughter too. It'll help pay for her private school and you don't even know it.
Yeah. I'm all on board, man. I know, dude. Like, it's funny because just a like quick background. Like, I was doing this nonprofit work for years, and I actually left for about 9 months. I went into the real estate game, right? Like, I got my real estate license, and I'm still licensed, but I
Oh yeah,
went
you were
into
telling me about it. Yeah, you were telling me about that.
yeah. So I fucking left my nonprofit job. I jumped into the commercial real estate, right? So I had it in. Most people, they do like residential. I went
Mhm.
into commercial with like the apartments and small strip malls or whatever. So I actually got a chance to work under like the VP, and dude, it was like fucking. I'm not even over exaggerating. It was like Wolf of Wall Street in that office, dude. Like, it was nuts. Like, these guys were like just partying hard, and it was their office was in Point Loma,
Oh,
right?
nice, nice.
Yeah, in Point Loma, like right near like the freaking the nudie bars and everything, right? Right next to the strip clubs, dude. But it was crazy because like these guys are so natural at it, right? So like, long story short, I ended up leaving there because like I didn't feel like the VP, my mentor, was like mentoring me enough. I went I went 8 months, man, without like any real guidance. A lot of that stuff I had to learn on my own. Like, but if I would have had like maybe 3 more months, I would have gotten a few like complete like sales in escrow and everything. I called a guy that actually my boss and I, his name is Kevin. We went up to Long Beach to talk to this fool. He owned a 20-unit apartment complex in San Ysidro, right? 20 units. And this fool was undercharging. They were all 2-bedroom, 1 baths, bro. And he was only charging his tenants like $1,000.
Dude, that's crazy. In San Diego, that's
Yeah,
nuts.
I know. So my boss and I, we went up there, and I didn't even know this. My boss, the very right when we sit down at him and his wife's table, my boss slides over a freaking offer like, "Hey, I'll buy your apartment complex for 3.5 million." And I was just like what? Like, you didn't even tell me this, right? So long story short, the guy didn't sell. Like, he couldn't have. He was in a financial bind. He couldn't have sold yet. It was too early for him to sell. But like, I think with this like mentorship that you do, at least with like, let's say the Forex or whatnot, with the live sessions, or even like with the the channels, and just kind of reading through people's mindsets, right? You can learn a lot about someone by reading their comments. It's crazy. I'm just like, all right, this is what I want to do. And then soon enough, like once I get enough like capital, like I do want to have like that passive income through the apartment complex, or like through property, where I'm not doing anything other than just like collecting monthly incomes after the mortgage is paid and property taxes and all that other junk. Because my cousin, she's the head accountant for that South Coast commercial. She's the head person. So she says that all the agents in there, dude, they're like multimillionaires, which I believe because I've seen it with my
Mhm.
own eyes. But they own property, and they don't even do anything because
Sitting on it, right? Yeah.
because they do the property management piece to it too. So
Oh, it's
that's
like you
what's
have one-stop shop basically.
exactly. So you got the agents, and then you got the property management, and those fools, they're just, they let the landlords, I guess, of the company, they just let them find their tenants. They're like, hey, as long, like, take out whatever you need to do, just put the money in my bank at the end of the day. And it's like, damn, bro, like that's where I want to get. I just want to be able to own property, let the property management decide what the market rent is, right? Because it's all market rent. Like they'll find the tenants, they take care of all that stuff, just put the money in my account.
And that's it.
Dude, easy, like easy. And then, and then I'm trading, right? Because I'm a lot like you, man. Like I like trading. I think I can sit in front of the charts
And you enjoy
probably
it,
for
right? Yeah, like
I do.
backtesting and stuff.
Yeah, like, especially when you spoke upon like the new strategy, let's just say, right? Dude,
Yeah.
I went back and I was just like, all right, let me see if this motherfucker is actually speaking truth, right? I went back and I was like, damn, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, yep, this shit works, like it's pretty solid. So I guess my biggest thing with trading as well is like, I don't know how comfortable I am with being like, yep, like, all right, I'm taking that trade. Like a lot of like when I zone up my charts with the SR levels, like my charts are pretty similar to yours, right? From the 4-hour to the 30-minute or whatnot. I'll blend some of the zones in as well because they're like too close together. So I'll just make one big zone. So, but when it comes to like, all right, well, do I want to take the trade? So what I'll do is like, I'll put the short or the long on my trading view. And then, like a few hours later, I'll check back and I was like, damn it, see, Josh, like you should have,
Straight out. Yeah. Right.
you should have took it because you're, the indicators telling you where the momentum's going, right? Like, and all this other stuff. And so, but for me, it's kind of getting to that point where I feel rock solid about that potential trade or that trade idea.
Yeah. You know what I recommend to do, it's like to fix that is like your confidence just isn't there yet because you haven't like really experienced it enough times for you to be trusting it as much as you should, Like, so for me, I would like when I was in that situation as well, like before I, got really confident with my strategies, is I just took every single entry, but I took it with like a smaller lot size. Like I wouldn't take the full lot size, like a 3%. I'd probably take like a 1%.
Yeah.
And then, just keep taking them. And then as soon as you keep hitting more and more TPs, you're like, oh, this actually works. And you're going to start believing in yourself that it actually works. Because it's easy when you're back testing it or when you're like, when you're just practicing and you're like, oh, this actually works. But when you actually hit it and you see the profit in your account, you're like, oh, this really does work. So I think it's more so just, it's more repetition. You get to a point where it's like I know you play basketball. So, like every time you take a shot, sometimes, well, in the beginning, you're probably like nervous. If you ever try to take a 3 or something that you're not good at doing, like maybe you're not good at layups and you take a layup and you're just scared to do it. The more and more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. It's the same with trading. Like the more and more trades you take, the more comfortable you be. Where it'll get to a point where you're just like, well, fuck it. I see the entry here. I'm gonna take the trade. And then you're not even worry about it at all.
Yeah. Like when I asked you about silver earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I marked up on my thing and it was like, I think the stop loss was like 84 pips, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it went down, silver went down at one point to like maybe like 100 past it, like from my entry. It went down 100, but I was going based off of like just what trading view stopped it at. I didn't even move my stop loss to like the swing, right? Or like what the most recent high or what the most recent low was. So then what does fucking silver end up doing? Ends up going into my freaking profit on my thing, right? And it's like, see, okay, like where I went wrong was I didn't put it on the like most lowest swing or whatnot. But it was like, all right, like I know what I'm doing, I guess, right? It's like I know what I'm doing. I think you're right. Just take super small, super small units and just go from there. Cause like again, like I'm not even tripping out about like FTMO. Like I know it will hit. My biggest thing about FTMO was like, fuck, did I just
the wrong time? Yeah.
Exactly. Cause even though not taking a trade is better than taking a bad trade, but when you're on a time constraint,
Hey, there's more pressure. There's way more pressure because you're like, oh crap,
exactly.
I got to get to this point at this time on this
I'm about to
day.
go. Yeah, I'm about to take a 50 lot on my next trade, bro. Just go, balls out. But yeah,
Yeah, no, that's usually the case. I mean, it's the same with like, all your other trades. I think, yeah, if you start taking like every trade that you see, even with a small lot size, like even if it's a penny trade, as long as you see profits hitting every single time, you're just gonna get more and more confident. You're not gonna even think about it. Like for me, like you can see when I call signals, like even when I'm on live, I don't even think about it. If I see the entry there and then I analyze it and it looks like it's a good entry, I just take it. Like I don't even think about it. Or sometimes I'll be on the live and I'll just take a crazy lot size. I'll take like a 10% trade and I'm not even like measuring it at all. And I'm like, oh, if
yeah,
you guys want to enter it, you guys can enter it too.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll get to that point. I mean, it just comes with practice, but back to your point with FTMO, it's just really it's more so about staying cool under all conditions, because I think that's what it really is. I think like with a lot of people, they'll have the same situation like you, where they end up in some heavy drawdown, and then what happens is they're like, oh crap, I need to double up my lot size, and then they end up taking a bad trade with like double or triple lot size, and then they end up blowing their, pretty much blowing up their account from that point.
Yeah,
It's more so just about consistency, consistency and staying cool under pressure for the most part. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, for sure, 100%. And it seems like every day for the last few days, there's always been that one guy that's like challenging the strategy or this, and it's just like sometimes I want to message you like, damn, that is this the same guy that keeps like complaining about like, like over leveraging or not knowing proper like risk to ratio, and I'm just like, oh, here we go again, like there's always some guy in the chat, dude. Always. It never fails.
It's like I try not to sound like an asshole, but it's like when I break down the numbers, it's like literally impossible for like that to happen. Like when people say they're a negative for the month, and I'm like, okay, if you took TP1 for every single trade, you'd still be
Yeah.
and it's like, and it comes to a point where it's like I just have to, because if I stay quiet, it's going to seem like, obviously there's I'm trying to hide something, but in reality, when it shows like the actual numbers, it's like if you do the calculations properly, it should always end up proper. But I mean, yeah, every day is a new day. I'm probably going to get one of those again tomorrow, or someone will probably be complaining about there not being any trades, and I'm going to have to explain that we're in a holiday, and the market doesn't always move the same way every single day.
Yeah, nah, I get you, man. I get you.
Yeah. I mean, I think funny, though.
Yeah, I guess it comes with the territory too, right? So
yeah, exactly, 100%.
I can only imagine people just like looking at you to like make them like 6-figure traders or whatever. It's just like, dang, dude, like don't put that responsibility on me, because that's exactly how I feel with like my clients, right? My clients are like, hey, like you're gonna help me find a job, or you're gonna help me do this, and it's like, I'll teach you skills in order to do these things, but ultimately, like, you're the one who's driving the car, man. Like, your limits, what your comfortabilities are. Like, I can't fix these or do these things for you, but when you get money involved, people like can turn south on you real quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's a high emotions run, especially if someone's like making mistakes, and then when you try to explain to them how to fix it, a lot of times people don't really want to hear it. They're set on their way of complaining, and it doesn't matter like what you explain to them. They're just like, well, I'm gonna keep complaining regardless until I get to a point where, and it's normal. I've been doing this for a while now, so it doesn't really. Like everyone always asks me, like sometimes, like, doesn't that ever get under your skin? And I'm like, no, not really, because I already know I'm probably gonna have to deal with this again tomorrow. So I'm like, I'm just going through the motions for the most part.
Kudos, my man. Kudos.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, it got to a point where it was just like, in one ear, out the other, then explain myself. And it was funny because like some of the guys will be like messaging me like, oh, I thought you were done being a lawyer, but you're over here answering questions like you're still an attorney. And it's just funny because like for me, when I like respond, I always come with facts. I always come back with the actual details of my explanation and stuff like that. And a lot of people take it the wrong way. They think I'm being aggressive. In reality, I'm just being real, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good. It happens, and you know, whoever ends up staying around will stay around. It's like it's obvious that the strategies work. It's obvious if you use proper risk management, it's gonna work long term. It's just a lot of people who start trading with K2 are new traders, and they're just not familiar with it, or you know, they just don't have that mindset yet, where they don't see the bigger picture. Like, you know, you have a loss this week, but it's fine. You're gonna make it back next week or the week after. But in a lot of situations, people over leverage, and they end up like blowing their account before they can even make it that far. And it's unfortunate, but you know, sometimes you just have to take those L's to really learn from it.
Yeah, for sure. I know. And like on my trading view, you know, I don't like to necessarily like trade all the pairs. Dude, I fucking hate the freaking Swiss, man. Like
I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
I
dude.
dude, I hate the Swiss. Like it's never been good to me ever. Like ever. And like I think I caught an L on one of the things, one of the signals that we, you know, somebody had called. I don't know who, you know, we took the L, but I was like, dude, it never fails. I always get an L on the Swiss, no matter what fucking pair it is.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
so
Literally
I
all of
can't
them.
do it. I
Yeah,
can't do it.
I was thinking about taking them off the list actually, but you know, sometimes like they have good trades sometimes, but most of the time they're usually not good. I think like odd CHF usually fucks us over a lot of times. That one
Yeah.
was one where we held it for like a whole month, I think, and I was like, damn, there's really no movement on this pair. It was like insane.
Yeah, no, I think that was the one. I kept saying like, see, it freaking reversed on us. This was like a few months ago. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I think it actually hit stop loss, and then literally like
Straight
an
to
hour later, like it just went straight to TP, and it was like, yeah, you're right. We held this thing for weeks. Like I remember like looking at my freaking Owanda account. I was just like, damn, I still have this here. Like shit, like
I
the
remember, yeah,
whole
we were talking about that because you were like, yo, this trade finally moving. And it looked like it was going to move back into profit. And it didn't hit like stop loss and then going straight into profit. I was like,
yeah,
it
dude,
really screwed
fucking
us over on that
nuts.
one.
Yeah. So I think that the ones I really want to just kind of focus really on is like, you know, the US 30, UK 100. And then I just want to dabble kind of like in gold, silver, and oil, just to kind of see like, you know, where momentum's going, or if there's any like real like you know, things that that I feel comfortable with, you know, trading and whatnot. And then of course like Euro USD, man, that's like my
That's your baby.
dude, like that's the one pair that I think has made me money, you know,
Yeah.
because the the spread is so low, right? And then it's like penny to penny, or you know, dime to dime, dollar to dollar, you know. So but yeah, that one's been really good to me. So like those six are the ones that I really try to like kind of keep my eyes on. So, but when I was asking about silver earlier, I just asked about silver and gold because like on Coinex, so I use Coinex like on my personal account, right? Like super small account, right? So nothing like major or anything. But on Coinex, like silver, you don't need to have like masses of amount of money in there, right? So like for US 30, I think you need last time I checked, when US 30 price was like 28,000, you needed like $53. But now it's, you know, like it's above that. You might need like closer to 60. But with silver and gold, you don't need, you know, like at least $50 in your account. I think you could trade it with like probably like $10 if you really wanted to.
Oh
You know,
wow.
it's going to be like pennies, of course, right?
Yeah.
But
You're still
for
trading
me,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to find the pattern, and you know, all this other stuff, or not the pattern, but like, you know, the momentum, and whether or not they respect the zones and stuff. So, but yeah, Coinex it's been all right to me, at least, you know, like, but then again, I don't have like thousands of dollars in my account either. So
Hmm.
trying to
I've
withdraw and
heard good
shit.
things. I've heard good things about Coinex, so I haven't heard anything bad about it. So I think you should be good. The only brokers I've heard bad things about were like Hugo's Way in some instances in the past. Uh, Caught Forex, that's for sure. I've heard a lot of bad things about that. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
BD Swiss. I think those are the only three ones that I've heard bad things about. But overall, I think everything else has been pretty much fine for the most part.
I tried to get on Hugo's Way, but I had like the most difficult time funding it. So I fucking gave up. I was like, it's taken way too long for me to put money into my Hugo's Way account. So I went to Coinex, dude. Like all right, like let me get on my Coinbase, buy the USD coin, and then just transfer it to Coinex because I don't buy like the Bitcoin or whatever. I
Yeah.
buy the USD coin, and then I transfer that to my Coinex because Coinex will allow like probably 30 different types of cryptocurrencies
Oh, that
as your trading platform. Yeah. So
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why Hugo's Way does that. It's weird. Like I had some other friends that wanted to sign up for an account too, and then it was such a mess. Like they tried to do the deposit through Vload, and then they didn't
Yeah.
accept it,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What the heck?" So they bought like $500 of Vload credit, and they couldn't even deposit into Hugo's Way, so they ended up getting a refund on that. And then they tried to do the whole Bitcoin thing with like Cash App, and then I guess you need some sort of like confirmation for them in order to accept that payment too. So they just ended up not even trading at all because Hugo's Way just made it way too complicated for them to make a deposit.
Yeah. I agree. I had a bad or not a bad experience. It was just too damn difficult. So I said, F it, whatever. I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I don't like about Coinex, in all honesty, is their interface. Like when you're using your computer,
Oh yeah.
dude, I hate like you can only zoom in like once. It's like one of those click in zoom ins. So
Yeah.
you can't see kind of like what you're looking at and all that other stuff. So I just put all my trades through my freaking MetaTrader.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I'd do the same thing. I was looking at the CoinEx website actually a while back,
There you
and
go. Yeah.
and for some reason it just looked like a scammy website to me, so I never opened an account. But since
Yeah.
I've seen you guys using it, I guess it's legit. But it just when I first opened it, because I remember the person that recommended it in the group, he was like known for giving like some like stuff that isn't really, it's kind of scammy. He always gives out scammy different brokers. I
Yeah.
forgot what his name was. I think it was David before, but he gave this one out, and we were just so confused. Like I was like, I'm definitely not going to try that because I remember one time he sent something, and it did not play out well with like one of our other
Yeah.
guys. But yeah, since you guys use it, I mean, it does look legit now. I know the older website when it was first introduced looked a little different, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely.
And one thing too that like when I was having difficulty with some things like their like chat now feature,
Yeah.
they were pretty damn responsive, man.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I honestly, like, no joke, I'm like not a spokesperson for them or anything, right? They fixed my issue pretty fast, so. But again, I don't have hundreds or thousands of dollars in there either, so it's like I'm just a small fish, working with pennies and dollars. So they probably don't even pay any attention to my account. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like yeah, that's how I felt too with like Hugo's Way. I felt like if you had a lot of money in the account, they would kind of mess with you. But since I only kept like 1,000 to like 10,000 in there, and I was withdrawing like whenever I went over, they never really. I mean, they messed with me a couple times where I had like bad connection error, but other than that, I think that was just about it. But I did hear with some people where like their money would take forever for them to get withdrawal because it was just they didn't have the money at the time, which made no sense to me. I'm like, where did the money go? You know?
yeah,
But it does make sense because I guess if you're like trading with something overseas, uh, they probably have that money reinvested into something else, or they have it, secure somewhere before
yeah,
they can make those withdrawals and stuff like that.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Coinex is cool though. I think maybe I'll check it out at some point if I ever want to trade like a smaller account. But I think I'm
Yeah,
more focused on trying to find something that's like regulated, which is kind of hard to find here in the US.
Unfortunately, I know. I've always wondered why. Like, why is it that other countries can do do that, but there's only what, like two brokers, like TD Ameritrade and some other broker that will allow you to trade like US 30 or indices or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I used to use before TD Ameritrade, but then you wouldn't trade the indice. You have to trade like the future, and it's a little different. So that's why I stopped using it. Um,
Yeah, I tried to play with their Thinkorswim a little bit.
it's hard, right?
Man, that whole interface is way too confusing. Like there is too much going on. And
Yeah.
it's like if you don't know your vocabulary, then because it wasn't as simple as like buy and sell. Like they were
hmm
using like I did it. I think I literally did it for 1 day, bro. 1 day, and I was like, nope,
Yeah,
not
no,
doing
that
this.
thing took me like at least maybe a year, 2 years to like even figure out how to use it because I had it for a long time, but I never really understood how to use the platform because they use all these abbreviations and there's a lot of
Yep.
shortcuts. And it's like, dude, how do I know what all this stuff means if I'm like brand new to trading, you know? And they had no
Yeah.
training on there, and I was like, okay, well, looks like I'm going to TradingView because it's crazy when you compare TradingView to like Thinkorswim. It's like a whole different app, dude. It's like this is simplified. It's like basically dummied down where you can. It's like hard to make a mistake using it, you know?
Yeah, and then you have all the information that you need, like on the right hand side of your screen, right? Like whatever pairs you put
Mhm.
on, got all your tools that are easily accessible. Yeah, dude, I played with Thinkorswim. I was like, man, I'm about to like blow my brains out because it was way too complicated, man. It was like I'm surprised I'm still like wanting to trade after going through that because
Exactly. Yeah. No.
that could
Definitely.
that could definitely like make someone like not want to trade anymore.
Yeah, that's what
So
happened actually. One of my coworkers before, he wanted to trade and I was like scalping. So he was trying to figure out how to put in trades on Thinkorswim. And then I think he ended up blowing his account because he didn't know how to like enter a trade. He ended up entering the opposite direction. And then he was just like, fuck this. I'm not trading anymore, bro. And I was like, all
yeah,
right, well, unfortunately.
right. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Hey, did you enter this a US 30 from this morning, the buy that we took?
Dude, so I would like I thought about it long and hard, right? Like I
Oh,
really
before
did.
entering it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't because I went back to it's better to not take a trade versus get into a bad trade. And I didn't know if it was gonna be a bad trade.
Exactly.
So I sat that one out. I definitely sat it out. But remember, and I was gonna fucking call you out on it too, man. Remember when I typed in, I was like, hey, I think it's gonna go, and I remember the fucking numbers too, man. I was like 34, 33, right? And I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's gonna go. And you're like, no, I don't think it's gonna go down. And I was like, all right, bro, watch, it's gonna fucking go down. And then what did it do? It went down.
Yeah,
So
dude,
it
it
was
came
that.
down heavy, dude. I was like tripping out when it came down right here. I was like, what the hell? And I was like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna hang on to this thing. And I moved my stop loss to down here. Thankfully, it like just went sideways and then shot right back up.
dude, I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, I could have fucking made like $70 right now if Shawn didn't tell me, nah, I don't think it's gonna go down. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, like right here, it was like it looked like it was gonna come down, and I was so tempted to enter the sell. Thankfully, I didn't because knowing me, I would have held on to this and not closed it when it got into profit. Right? I would have been like, oh, it came down pretty far. I'd probably keep going farther. At least the TP1,
Right.
and I would have been in some heavy drawdown at this point if I ended
Yeah.
up holding on to it.
Yeah. I know it's crazy how it just like, you know, got that little freaking W shape going on, man. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even realize that the Dow 30 is usually bullish at the end of the year. I only knew that because I went back and I was like, oh, it's weird. Every single year it's bullish. So I was at this point, I was like, I'll just buy and then I'll hang on to it until pretty much the end of the year and see what happens. And it's kind of weird because it's at an all-time high. So you would expect it to come down, but
yeah.
it looks like it might even push up even higher from this point.
I wonder what Wade's is Wade still around?
Yeah, yeah, he's still around. I still talk to him like pretty much every so often whenever he wants to talk or he just needs some advice with stuff.
I
But
wonder what his like analysis is. So like I remember when he a few months ago he did those private sessions and I actually got into the group, right? I got into the private session and like where does he live? He lives like in Toronto, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, so like I asked him like, hey man, like, I can do sessions. They would just have to be after like 5:30. And he's like, yeah, no problem, bro. Like we can do 6 o'clock. So like he did like what is it, like 3 hours ahead?
Yeah,
Right.
it's not that far ahead. It's only 3 hours. They're New York time, basically Eastern.
Yeah. So there were times where, and I'm not trashing Wade. I just, he had so many people kind of like you, right? You guys have so many people that you're mentoring or having these one-on-one sessions. It's like by the time he got to me, dude, I think he like just forgot about me a few times. Like I'd be waiting there, just waiting for him to send me the Zoom link, and I'd message him. And then like there was one time, bro, like he'd be like, oh, it was like at 10 o'clock at night. He'd like, oh, hey, sorry, are you free now? And I was like, yeah. So, we did like a quick little 45-minute session. And he's always having like audio issues too, right? It's so funny. Like he's always having like audio issues. But yeah, bro, like he like forgot about me a few times. And then it just got to the point where it's just like, hey, you know what? Like, it's all good, man. Like I don't want to get to that point where I'm getting frustrated with him
Yeah.
because, so and then I think 2 weeks had gone by, man. Like literally 2 weeks had gone by, and he was like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you." And in my mind, it was like, "Man, That's because I haven't heard from you."
Oh
So,
man, it's hilarious, dude.
but
So funny.
yeah, but I'm curious because he talks about the mid-figure and big figure numbers, right? So it's like, what is that? What is that mid-figure and big figure number that he thinks that it's going to get to? Because his stuff is pretty on point, man. Like just like because he's always like, I don't, or at least what he was telling me was just like, just hold your buys, and go from there. Like if I would have held the buy from a few months ago, damn, dude, like I think we would have been balling out right now, But you take the TP and whatnot, and but I'm curious to know kind of where he thinks price is going to go, because if what you're saying is like, well, I think I'm going to hold on to this buy. It's like, well, where are you holding on to? Like
Yeah,
what
there's
is that magic number?
yeah, like the magic numbers that we usually use. Like the thing with Wade is he swing trades, and then he has a lot of he uses a lot of fundamentals, like versus me where I use a lot of technicals, and
Yeah,
I use momentum. Like for me, I'd rather get in the trade, get out, make some profit, wait for the pullback, and then re-enter. For him, it's more so buy and then reach a target price point. The way that a lot of people use when they're analyzing US 30, they use quarter points. I don't know if you've ever heard of quarter points.
yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like right now, it's at 30,500, basically, right? So it's about to break 30, or I think it already did. It broke 30,500 right here. So once it's established that it's within this zone over here above 30,500, the next area where price is likely to reach is going to be the next quarter point. So from right here, I think the next target would be 30,750.
Mm-hmm.
And then, from that point, if it breaks again and then establishes that this is the new support, then it'll continue up even further to about 31,000.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I don't know where his target is either, but I'm pretty sure he follows the quarter points as well as like just the guideline for where it goes. But like me personally, like sorry, a US 30 is like brand new to me. I just started trading this like in like I think May, right? So
Yeah.
I don't understand it completely just yet. But it's been like super profitable where it makes me want to understand it because like a few US 30 wins could like cover a whole week's FX trades basically. So
Yeah,
like
for sure.
yeah. So like for me, it's been my main focus now, and especially with FTMO, it it definitely wants to be my focus because then for this I can just take one trade a day and then I can just chill. Versus me trading Forex throughout the week and then having like a back and forth movement from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my bad. Let me check the Forex pairs. I totally forgot that it was like the 4 hour candle I just closed, but I don't think there's any entries.
No, you're good.
Yeah, market's literally been just this
Yeah.
whole time, so I don't even see any entries here, which is cool. I mean, I just want to make sure, but yeah, it looks like stuff are about to it might have some movement as we enter the next 4 hour candle because it looks like this right here. Once it breaks structure, it'll probably provide for an entry for these certain pairs. But other than that, I don't really see anything here.
I know, and some of those structures are like super close together, man. Like,
Yeah, dude, like this morning, there was a couple that I wanted to take. I think it was like, let me see if I can find the pair. Like USD CAD right here. I was waiting for this to swing above and give a buy signal or a sell signal, and then it never closed like right next to it. I think it was like GA actually. It was one of these pairs up here where it was like literally at the structure, and I was just waiting for it to close above it so that I can take an entry, but it never did. Oh, this right here, like for EuroCAD, it was like
yeah.
literally, it was like right next to the structure, or actually it was this one here. It was the one before it at 6 a.m. this morning. It was above structure, but then it pulled back way below and it never broke. So I was like, well, there goes our entry there. But like
Yeah.
that also has taught me to be very patient because if we did enter that trade, you know, we might have been screwed at some point if we tried to like weasel our way into that little trade right there.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, volatility is just really low because you know with New Year's coming up, a lot of people are not even back in the market. I feel like a lot of people took vacation from Christmas up until New Year's Day. So the market's probably really slow still. And then I think on the 4th, that's when people are gonna just, you know, influx of people back in the market. And then we're gonna finally see some movement. So I'm pretty excited for that because this slow market is just no bueno, bro. It just makes me so bored. It makes me want to like force trades, but I
I
know
know.
myself that I can't. I just can't.
I know that's like the worst, man. When it's just like you get bored and you're like, you need that. I don't know if it's like a rush, right, or that adrenaline. You know,
Hmm.
and then I know, man. It's just like kind of like I mean, I've heard you say it before too, when you're just like, well, at that point, you're just gambling.
It
You
really is,
know?
yeah. Because at that
Yeah.
point, it's like price can either go up or it can go down. So like depending on how wide your range is, you can either have a big loss or a big win. Yeah.
You're better off going to the roulette table, man, and going fit, you know, 100 on
Yeah,
black every time.
exactly. Yeah, and that's what I always tell people. It's funny. It's funny, but it's really true because like you know your odds of just guessing a direction, just taking a trade, are just as good if you go to a casino. But at a casino, you'll find out right away. You don't have to wait for the price to actually move.
Right.
Yeah, and that just becomes the real gist of it. That's why I think trade psychology is probably one of the hardest things for people to really master. Even myself, I feel like I haven't even mastered trade psychology yet, and I've been trading for years. You know, uh,
Yeah.
like it's there for the most part for me, but then sometimes I get tempted to like right now where the market's so slow, it makes me want to scalp. But I know if I scalp, it could either end up really good or end up really bad, and it's just not worth the risk.
Yeah. Are you still applying like your pivot strategy scalping?
Yeah, you know what? So it's crazy. What I started doing is I started applying the new strategy that I mentioned, and
Mm-hmm.
I factored it in with the pivots. So like basically, like something like this right here. You know, normally we would take this as a pivot entry right here, but
Yeah.
I personally probably wouldn't have taken it because it didn't cross above this previous signal right here.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah. So right here, I wouldn't have taken this one because it, or where was it at? I think it was this one right here. Yeah. So I wouldn't have taken this one right here because it didn't close above it, right? Oh, sorry, wrong line. This line right here. Yeah. So price would have to close above this signal right here in order for it to be a valid uh, qualify for that new strategy that I was mentioning. So I
Correct.
would have skipped this one right here, but for this
But
one over here,
yeah, you would have taken that one
I would have
because
taken this one and it
it
would have been
closed well
perfect.
above. Yeah.
Exactly. It would have been perfect. So I started to look at that and it actually works really good. You could even catch it where it's like not even a pivot entry, but if you see it where it's crossing, you know, into the next area or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it could actually work out. Like right here, I guess this I was looking for one that wasn't technically a a legit pivot entry like this right here, we probably wouldn't have taken this because it just crossed, from uptrend to downtrend. But if we were applying that strategy where it would just have to close below, this candle right here, if we did that and we took this sell right here, ended up taking it at that low, we would have hit TP on that as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to apply it. This is probably going to be the way that I'm going to be applying it for the pivots. And a few of the guys that are running the back test for me on US 30, they've done a back test, and the win rate, if you took every single entry using that new strategy, it's still above a 65%. So it's like about a 65 to 70%. So if you literally took every trade that appeared, you could have like been in profit like for the end of the week or whatever. So
and they're doing that on the 10-minute.
Yeah, they're doing it on the 10-minute. They just pretty much took every valid entry that you could have taken. There was obviously going to be some losses, but overall, I think just since September, it was at least like above a 65% win rate. So that's actually really good.
What are they? What is the target? Is it 50 pips or what?
I think it was 1,500, or it was something like yeah, I think it was 1,500.
It was still 1,500. Dang, dude.
It was 1,500. Like you take some losses, but then you like at the end of the month, it was like basically some wins. So like if you won like 15 to like 25% of the time, you would make a ton of profit. So I was thinking like, if that's the case, I might as well like figure out a way to automate the strategy and just take every single trade literally.
Yeah.
And try to get it that way. I was even thinking about maybe even just forward testing, like open another personal account and just take like a 0.01 lot size every time.
Yeah.
And then just, play by ear for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, since that range was too high, I think if we lower the range maybe to like 500 pips or something like that, where it's more of a scalp move instead of an actual full move, then we could actually lock in some pretty decent profits. Because I was doing some back testing myself. Like literally, there's so many wins here that could have been hit if we were to do a 500 pip run. Like this probably would have been a loss right here, obviously, but this would have been a win for like 500 pips. Again, right here, this would have been another 500 pips. Again, right here, this would be another 500 pips, and it just keeps adding up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there goes your 150 or your 1,500 or your 150.
Yeah. Exactly. So instead of taking that big move, you just pick them up.
But so I started. I think I was trying to do some back testing outside of the US 30, right? But I was doing like on gold and stuff.
Yeah.
But with that strategy, you're talking about potentially, like, I'm curious to know when those guys collect that data, what session are they getting the losses from, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what time, like if it's not profitable, that let's say anytime after like 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I guess, from 12 midnight, every time a signal popped up, 50% of the time it resulted in a loss. It's like, okay, well, just know that by then it's literally like a toss up, right? So I'd be curious to know, like, well, where are those, like, I guess, quote unquote losses? Like,
let me pull up right here. I think he has it right here actually. So this is September. It looks like most of the losses happen 8 a.m. So this is US session. It looks like a lot of these losses happen around
in the afternoon.
Afternoon our time, Asia session, which we would probably not even be trading because the volatility is too low. Yeah, that's what it looks like for the most. I mean, they're pretty mixed, but it looks like most of the time they're kind of around the afternoon periods. Like for this was September right here. It's just raw. It's a raw back test. It was a 65% win rate, which is not that bad. And if you avoided the the afternoon trades, it looks like you're done pretty well. Well, I mean, look, this like total net pips is still pretty nice, 2,600. If you take every single trade, like anything in profits, actually pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got to figure out what he put here because it looks like some of these are a little different. It looks like some of them are bigger, while some of them are smaller.
Yeah, And I could tell too on that third column, there's the TP1 or, half the,
Oh yeah, yeah. So these, like, if we were to go to TP1, we could have eliminated like a ton of losses right here, actually.
I
So
want, is he just letting TradingView do the automated take profit and stop loss?
that's what it kind of looks like right here, because it's like
Because
the numbers
yeah,
aren't the
yeah,
numbers
because
aren't very
those
accurate.
numbers those numbers are totally trading views. Like 83, you always get 83, right? You always get 165.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You always get those numbers, man.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. So maybe that's the case here. Maybe we have to figure out a way to find a sweet spot. So this is like the raw test that Alkin's done. And we basically what we're doing here is we're getting the raw data so that we can see what do the numbers look like and if there's any change that needs to be made. So right now we have a 65% win rate, just running the trades naturally. So from here, this is when we start to make the changes. We're like, okay, should we avoid trading during certain time periods? And it looks like if we do avoid Asia session, we could probably eliminate a lot of these losses right here. So, and maybe it eliminates Sunday because it looks like these Sunday trades, like right when the market opens, end up losing. So
Right.
there's like little changes that we can do to increase this to maybe a 65 to maybe a 70, and from a 70 maybe to a 75 to maybe even 80 in some instances. And if that's the case, that's a lot of money that can be made there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Now that's cool, man. I think that the time and effort is definitely going to help a lot of individuals out later on and stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
yeah, it's pretty cool because like before I was doing this like all on my own, but I'm kind of glad that I found some guys that kind of have like common interests and have like free time to
Yeah.
help with it, because it's awesome because like now we get so much more work done rather than me doing the back testing. Because like with me doing the live sessions plus mentoring plus everything, it makes it like literally impossible for me to put time aside to back test,
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's good now that we have like, we sort of have a team in the background helping with this, because it's definitely going to help all of us. Because once we have this set up and we have the strategy like pretty much to a T, like we'll probably be able to, start giving out signals or start teaching people how to apply it themselves. And it's going to make us like super profitable, like as a team, not just one of us, but all of us all together.
Yeah. No, that's legit, man. I like that. I was gonna ask you too, man. I need to get a t-shirt. Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
yeah, dude. So I hella want a t-shirt, dude.
Yeah.
So
What size are you, like medium or large?
nah, dude, I'm getting that dad bod going on, man. So a large,
Large. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's probably better because I think I'm running low on the mediums. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm probably gonna order some new ones because I think I'm running out of them. But I'm gonna check the stock, see if I have some. I can definitely send you one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the shirts are awesome, dude. I love those shirts. I wear them like literally. That's all I wear now. Whenever I go anywhere, I'm wearing the Casey shirt, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like some people that will ask me like, once in a while, like on my Instagram for the most part, if it's not my kids or basketball,
Mhm.
then it's like my trading life, right? And there are times where like I'll tag K2 and whatnot. And I've had a bunch of people like ask me like, what is that? Like, or like what, or how profitable are they? And my thing is, dude, Google K2, trading strategy or whatever, and
Yeah.
just sign up, man. Like that's the only thing I can tell you, like, because like, and people believe me, you know what I mean? Like, like I have a face that they trust, I guess. But I get some once in a while I get people like just message me on the side. Like I got a buddy, man, that's like super. I think he took right when January 2020 started. He took $1,000 account. He does options trading, right?
Yeah.
He does options, and this fool's at just that $1,000 account. He's been able to make 40 grand off of it, or turn that 1,000 into 40,000. And
Nice, dude.
super conservative. But he'll ask me all the time, like, hey, like, what about that US 30? Like, how are you guys doing on it? And I'm like, well, the the team's doing great. You know, I'm still trying to get funded, but the team's doing awesome. So, but yeah, dude, like I'll have people that will ask me about, you know, K², so to the second power.
Right. Yeah. No, it's the same with me. Like whenever people ask me about K2, it's always like, I don't want to give them these like crazy hopes, because a lot of people, they hop into trading, they think it's like guaranteed. Like you could have like the best system in the world, you could have the best mentors in the world, but it really depends on the person. Because in reality, like it sucks that trading is for, like, it can be for everyone, but in reality, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I never really try to hype it up. Even though it's like it doesn't need to be hyped up, you can literally just give them the numbers, and then people will be amazed by that. For me, more so, go on the website or sit in on the live session, see if it's for you. Because I don't want to like give these people these false hope where it's like, oh, it's guaranteed, or they're doing so well, so it's impossible for me to fail at this.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but you know how trading is. It's never a straight road. It's always going to be a rocky path, regardless of how hard you try. Or
Dude, I know. That one freaking trade, man, I was so I was so pissed off, dude. But it happens, and yeah,
yeah,
it
it happens.
definitely
But you bounce back
happens.
from it. It's not a big deal. You bounce back from it. It's not like the end of the world. But it's always what I tell people. It's like save your trading account so you can live to trade another day, rather than blow
Yeah,
your account and then not be able to trade at all for like a good while.
yeah, and I think too, like with me, at least the way that I think with FTMO, even though they fund you this money, right? To me, because I know me, right? I know my capabilities, I know my skill set, I know what I'm comfortable with. I don't think when with FTMO, I know that I would not take a chance of over leveraging because you can instantly lose that funded account, right? So it's like, okay, well, even if I'm for 2 out of the 5 out of the week or 2 for 4 out of the week, like profit is still profit. And if these guys are going to give me or give us 70% of our freaking profit, like, why am I going to over leverage? Like there's no need for that. Like I can save up $1,000 on my own and try to, trade, or I can pass their damn test, get $100,000 and then, 70% of that and all this other stuff. So, but I don't foresee myself like over leveraging on FTMO because it's like it's too important to lose. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely don't want room for error on a funded account like that. Like it's different if you got like $300 in your personal and you're like, well, I'm gonna go big. And I was like, well, it's just $300. This is $100,000 that you're able to prove that you have the skill, the strategy to use. So
Exactly. And I always find it funny when people get upset about the daily loss limit. They're like, oh, well, like if the trade didn't close, why did I lose? And I'm like, dude, if that was your 100K account and you had someone else trading it, you're not going to let them go like drop your account to like zero before they kick you out of the account. And
yeah,
it's like,
what do they call it? That floating stop loss or whatever it is.
exactly, yeah, because like obviously
Yeah.
they're not going to let you go below a certain amount before they kick you out of the trade, because obviously they're going to want to cut their losses if that happens to be the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it is crazy, but if you do it properly, it's totally possible. And you've seen it, everyone's seen it. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I was because like my so I have 2 kids and my kids live in Murrieta. You know where Murrieta is at, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Temecula, Murrieta. So
Mhm.
I live in Chula Vista. They live in Murrieta. They're on vacation right now, so they're at the house with me for a week,
Mhm.
and I'm working from home. But I was telling Pamela, their mom, like, yeah, like it's crazy how like people get so fixated on like wanting to make money like so fast, but they don't necessarily want to learn like the skill, right? It's like that Bible quote, like, do you want to do you want to be taught how to fish or do you just like want to be fed, right? Like,
Exactly.
so that's where I'm at, where it's just like, like I know the profits will come if I learn the skill. So that's why, you know, um, with these indicators, or because for the longest time, man, I didn't know how to create zones. Like
Oh, really?
for the longest time, I did not know how to create zones. I did not know, like, I just I didn't know how to do it. And then even with your the the SR that you have indicator, for the longest time, I still didn't know how to do it because I saw so many lines, man. And it was like, okay, well, which red lines is with what red line, right? So, but you play around with it and you ask questions, and then it's like, oh, it's that simple, right? So, but
Yeah, definitely. I think the live session definitely helped a lot of people with zones, because I feel like you're not the only one that had that issue. It was like a lot of people weren't sure like which zones connect or like what zone was important, and they thought that the colors meant something like the red or the green.
yeah,
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 but in reality, it's like, supports can always turn into resistance. Resistance can always turn into support if price passes it. So like, going through the live sessions and marking my charts every single day, showing how easy it is, I think a lot of people started to realize that it's really not that complicated once you actually get it down.
right. Yeah, man. I was one of those people that was in the beginning. I was struggling with it because I was like, where the fuck? Like, what? Where?
Yeah, and it's
Like,
funny
dude,
because
this.
like for a lot of people too, like I make it look so easy. So they're like, "Are you sure that's it? Do you need something else? Do I need to do something else?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
that's it. That's literally it."
And the biggest thing is that stupid extend left, extend right feature.
Oh yeah.
To that like for the longest time, I was just like, man, how does he get the rectangle to go full screen? Like I did not, I couldn't figure it out. Like I couldn't figure it out. And then I think someone else had asked in the chat a long time ago, and you're like, oh yeah, you click on thing, you click the settings of that tool, and then you just click here, boom, boom. And I was like,
That was
I'm
it.
over here, like struggling like to make these zones, man, make them all perfect and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, because it makes a huge difference when it covers the whole screen. Like I always find it so crazy that this like extends across the entire screen, and you can see that it actually tests like months back. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so I'm not one to figure out like, oh, like what's the algorithm of certain stuff, right? For me, it's just
Mhm.
like, hey, it exists, cool. Can I use it? Cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't try to get into that stuff, but I'm glad that some of the indicators that you've created and spent a lot of time on, definitely they help, so because like momentum, like outside of like your indicator, like I've tested like the Bollinger Band, like
Oh
the
yeah,
buy when it's like outside. Like I think I was really into that at one point. The what was the other one?
there's a
The
whole bunch. Yeah.
stop and reverse one, the ones with the dots.
Oh, the parabolic swords. Sorry.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
use all of them, bro. I use every single indicator that there's even available, and that's pretty much how I created like my K2 indicators. Because what happened was I was using those indicators, and there was always times where they didn't work. There was like times where it did work, but it was never really all year round. It would work during seasons or during certain market conditions, but I was like, man, I got to figure out something that works all year round. So I kind of just got the best parts out of all of these different indicators, and then that's how I pretty much created the momentum indicator to cover all of those all in one.
Yeah. So that's based on currency.com, like what the trades that are coming in and out from currency.com, or like well, I get, yeah, you don't have to answer that. Never mind. I mean,
Are you talking about like the how the indicators work?
like yeah, like how that signal actually pops up. So the sell signal
Hmm.
pops up because it's collecting data from somewhere. But is it collecting it from like currency.com? Like for an example, like Owanda. I
Yeah.
would understand if it came from Owanda, because on Owanda you know, you can actually collect the buy and sell orders from that. But like currency.com, I don't know, like, is that a broker for like the
Yeah,
hell
yeah,
is
yeah,
currency?
yeah. So currency.com is another broker. It just has
Got it.
their
Got
own
it.
broker data. So basically, depending if you're using currency.com or if you're using Rwanda or even if you're using forex.com for our forex entries, all of them, it pretty much gives you the data point. Because like for these indicators, what it'll do is it'll pull all of the data points. Because in reality, these are all just numbers.
Yep.
These candles here, like the actual raw data, if you look into the code, which, you know, you can't really see it here, but the code's like built into the system. When you get all those numbers and data points put together, it pretty much just gets put into an equation for these momentum indicators, which you can still see from like the naked eye as well. So like, for example, here, if you were to identify this, like I'll just show you exactly how I would identify it without these indicators, because, you know, obviously I created the indicator, so I know exactly like how they work. So like for me, I would identify a rejection point. So like right here, if I was to use the rectangle tool, I would identify this as a rejection point down here, right? So I would
Yeah.
have this right here. And then generally, if it's followed by a strong bullish move, like right here, it rejected off this point, came up, pulled back down for a double bottom basically. And then from there, it came with these strong bullish candles, right? It was like 1, 2, 3 strong bullish candles. It's not necessarily just 3 candles, which will provide a signal. But from this point, this is going to indicate to me that, you know, momentum is probably going to swing up. So in this situation, if I was to turn on the indicator, you can see that the signal came up right there.
Yep.
So same situation right here. Price came down, rejected off the structure. It came with, for here, it's about four candles, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the buy signal right here. So that's kind of how these, you know, these signals have been developed. But obviously, there's more that goes into it. This is just like a basic overview of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, you know, the equations, it's a lot more complicated than it seems on the screen, because like obviously this took me like years and years and years to develop. It took me a very, very long time for me to figure this out. And it's funny because, you know, you'll see people in the group that are trying to crack, they're trying to understand like what produces these signals, but it's funny because everyone's always, they're like completely off, or like they're nowhere near like what it's supposed to be. And I just laugh about it because everyone always says, oh, they're like moving averages. And I'm like, all right, we'll put moving averages together and then show me where they line up. And the moving averages don't even line up with, you know, these signals. And
Yeah.
it's just funny because I'm the one that created it. So a lot of people think that they can mimic it, which we've had a lot of people in K2 have tried to, they leave K2 and they try to do it on their own. And then they end up coming back like a month later, like, oh, you know, I wasn't able to do what you were doing. So, and I just laugh about it because I'm like, yeah, obviously, like if it was that easy, there would be other indicators like this, but there in reality there isn't. Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's been great though. I mean, this indicator has blessed all of us like so much, and I'm so thankful that I was like able to really figure it out because it took me a long time. It took me, I think I thought like the idea came to mind like probably about 6 or 7 years ago. That's when the idea came to mind. And then for a year, I was doing a bunch of testing, and then it finally clicked where I was able to get it very consistent. So it came to that point, and that's how I was able to create it, you know, into an actual indicator. I think about 2 years ago, and that's when I started creating it.
Yeah. Like I don't even I don't even see the the trend indicator anymore. It's like obsolete.
Exactly, yeah. Because
Yeah.
the thing with the trend indicator is like it does work, but just because of how the market's moving, it doesn't necessarily you're not able to catch trends very, very often, you know, as much as we used to before.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is on the shorter time frame, but if we were like on the 30-minute or something, it's like super hard to find a consistent trend. That's not going to be hitting like, you know, resistance or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I kind of just I stopped using it, but it's definitely a good addition if you wanted to have that extra confirmation. Because I was going over with this guy early in the previous session, and he actually uses the original strategy, and it works like perfect for him. So I was like,
Wow.
okay, that's good that it still works, and I don't have to go back and check on it, you know, because then people can just pick up the strategy and pretty much just start applying it on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, man, I appreciate everything that you do. And you know, I know for me, like in high school, I was never like the most studious kid, right? But for some reason, dude, like when it comes to like this, you know, this trading or Forex or whatever it is that we call it, like I'll sit in front and just kind of listen in. Like you know, it's just I enjoy it a lot. So I appreciate your willingness to really be like a not just a mentor for me, but really a mentor for a lot of us. And yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing, dude. So
Yeah,
but
definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. This like the reason why I started this is because like when I first started trading, dude, I had no mentor, I had no money to buy a course. So it was like I just wanted to basically like, give back. Because like I've gained so much from trading where it was like, there's a bunch of other people there that was in the same position as I was where I just really wanted to learn and I had no mentor teaching me. So like now it's like I might as well teach people. And then on top of that, it helps me as well because it kind of forces me to practice,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, it goes both ways pretty much for me.
Shoot. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, man, I'm gonna freaking pass this FTMO before the 19th. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they'll just add those days, right? Those 10 days, and I'll have like towards the end of the month, and that should be plenty of time. But I guess I need to because my drawdown right now is negative 3,000.
Hmm.
So I guess my question for that is on my FTMO, um, especially within the first week or two, I'm thinking of taking like, you know, 3 lots, like 3.0. Like I don't want to take the 10 just to be safe, because I don't know. That's just like, or what do you suggest like on what
Yeah.
the amount of
So it's crazy because I was talking to like a couple other guys that have been really successful with K2 or using the daily entries, and this is something that I'm not really gonna bring out to anyone. You're probably like the first person I'm really telling about doing this is like, have you heard of martingale or the martingale system?
is that they do that in gambling, no? Like you start with $100. If you lose, then you do $300, and then if you lose, then you do 800 because you're eventually going to get your break even plus have be in profit,
Profit.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got
So
it. Yeah,
yeah. So the thing with US 30, like how I mentioned that we almost never have like more
back to
than
backs.
two back-to-back losses. So one of the guys in the chat that how he was mentioning, he actually does that. He'll like take a 10 lot, and then on the next trade he'll take like 11 lot, and then on the next trade he'll take a 12 lot. And then once we finally have a full TP, like maybe on the third trade, if you have a back-to-back loss, he ends up making all the money back plus a net plus more. And he's been like crazy profitable, bro. So
Yeah,
I was like, dang, I should probably start doing that for FTMO. Start with um like a 10 lot and then do that and increase if we ever have any losses. It's not something I'm going to teach anyone else because, or like I'm going to, teach the public because I know once I teach that, dude, everyone's going to start doing that for every single trade. It's not even
they're
just
gonna
30.
they're gonna blow their accounts so bad too. Like,
Exactly. And
yeah,
instead of going like one lot up, I know people are going to double up. So instead of doing a 10 lot, they're going to do like a 20
yeah,
lot. And I'm like,
yeah,
it doesn't work like that, bro.
yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
gonna go like negative 50 pips while the trade is still active, and they're already gonna fail their challenge or whatever it is. So
Exactly. Yeah. And this just brought back to like what you mentioned right now, if you should go for a lower lot size. So now it probably wouldn't be beneficial because you're already in the drawdown. But if you
mhm.
started that way, so if you started with like 3 lots and then you went from 3 lots to 4 lots and then from 4 lots to 5 lots, then it would work because then you'd make the money back. But right now you're like too far in the drawdown where I wouldn't recommend doing it. But I think once you're done with this challenge, like once you pass the challenge, maybe for the verification, that's maybe something that you can maybe dabble with if you're just going to be taking the US trades.
Okay. So on the next potential trade tomorrow morning, if there is one, should I take the 10
Um,
or should I go like 5 or 7?
so you've been taking 15, right?
No, I took the tens.
Okay,
So let me
okay.
wait. Let me see. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what I did. So right now my current drawdown is 3,100, right? 3,129.
Mm-hmm.
So I took, where the hell's my trading journal? Oh, right here. Okay. So on my first one, I took a 10. Or actually, sorry, my very first one on the 21st was a 1 because I forgot to put the
Oh yeah,
0,
you're right.
right? So
Yeah.
So basically, I took an 11 lot size on that one, and then from there, those were my. So I took an 11, and then on my next US 30, this was the back to back. I took a 5.
Okay, and that was a loss.
And that was a loss. That was the back to back loss. Okay. And then I took a UK at 2 on that same day. The next day, the 22nd in the morning. That was a loss too, but that was a 2 lot. But that was like negative $350. But the 2 back to backs in total added up to 2,500, over 2,500. But it was a 10 or really an 11 accidentally, and then a 5 on the second loss. It was a 5.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a big issue right now because you already know where your drawdown is. But I think moving forward, you should probably just stay within, or don't go like too far below. Because what happens is if you keep changing the lot size like that, or if you're going higher in lot size, it would be fine because like I was mentioning with the market system, it'll cover the losses and give you some profit. But if you go lower and say like one day you go lower, you win that trade, you get like less profit. And the next day you go back to your normal lot size and then you lose that trade, you end up losing basically double.
Correct.
So I think I would just stay more consistent with your lot size moving forward. Well, you're still in some drawdown right now, so you have to make your way back up.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about just doing 7s in between the 5 and the 10 that I was doing.
Yeah,
especially if I get those additional 10 days. Because like I said, like I'm not worried that it's not gonna. Like I'm really confident that that will pass, right, for sure. But like if we have another freaking. Because when was the last time we won US 30?
The last time we won US 30 was, let me see if I can pull the results up right here. Let's see, we are in.
Was it the week of the 14th?
So let me check. So we had, nothing from last week on the 4th. So it was, you're right. It was the week of the 14th. So the week of the 14th, we had a win on Monday. And then on the 15th, on that Tuesday, actually we had a wins like all that whole week. I think it was straight wins.
Nice. Yeah.
So the week before that, on week 3 of December, we had wins Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday or Thursday. Yeah. So we had 4 back-to-back wins. And then, the week after that was last week where we had, it was a little rocky. So it hasn't been that long. It's only been, we've only had 2 back-to-back losses from last week. And then, the week before that, we had like 4 back-to-back wins. So it kind of balanced itself out for the most part.
Yeah. I think I just, wouldn't want to go, 3 in a row on the US 30. And then I'm doing a 10 lot. And now I'm down, an additional 1,500. While I can just maybe just do the 7s, for the next, few days. Because I'm comfortable with the 7s. I'm not going to go like from 5 to 10 to 7 to 12 to, or whatever. Or maybe I should just stick with the 10.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think you should be going with the 7. No, that's a good idea because right now, just the way the market's moving, until the market goes back to normal, probably next week, then you can go back to your normal lot size. But I think for now, it's good that you're going lesser.
Okay.
It'll definitely help in the long run, just to keep you in the game, basically. Until we swing back, which will eventually happen. It's going to take some time before that happens for the most part.
For sure. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So I think you should be good, bro. And then, definitely. Maybe once you're verified, then you can start using that system that I was mentioning, where you can start with a 7, and then eventually, you'll end up hitting that TP where you can you can, go back to your 7, and then if you have back-to-back losses, you go up to 8 to 9, because then you'll still be within your 10 pip, your 10 lot range right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. My cousin, I guess he's like my second cousin. He's studying business at freaking Harvard, right? He's
Oh
a
no
third
way.
year. Yeah, and he plays on the lacrosse team too.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was down. Oh man, few months ago. He was just on vacation, and he was the one that told me about it. He was like, "Yeah, have you ever heard of this thing?" He was like, "Yeah, like if you ever go to the roulette table, you should use that system." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sounds good, all right." But he's actually, he was doing internships at Wall Street and shit over there in New York, and pretty brilliant kid. So, but that's where I first heard it, was through him about that strategy. Freaking little
Yeah.
19-year-old kid, So
Yeah. For like that strategy, you have to have at least like above 50%, obviously. Uh, but
yeah, yeah.
the thing with roulette is the house will always have the edge. Like for us with K2, we've done the numbers where we have the edge, like we're basically the house. But in the casino, it's a little different because they have like there's always going to be like a 15% risk that you're not going to hit. Um, it'll be in the house's favor basically.
Yeah.
So for us, it like makes a lot of sense. For gambling, it makes a lot of sense as well in the casino. But I think it would make more sense playing baccarat. Have you played baccarat?
Dude, I've never played it. It just looks so like complicated to me, but I've known people who are like pretty successful at like, winning on that game.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even know how to play it.
it's always like old Asian people that play it, and they're like
Right.
they're doing the same thing. They're doing the martingale system. Well, it's something that's like a little variation to it, but it's basically they'll flip 2 cards, and then uh, whoever has a higher number will win. So it's more of a 50% chance because it's either you win, you lose, or you push. Versus if you're doing roulette, you could win with red, you could win with black, or you can lose with either one. But then there's also the green in there, or the double numbers, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets a little iffy because I think it's like a 3% risk that the house has over you. But if you're playing baccarat, you'll like if you ever see people like real people play baccarat like in Vegas, they're betting like 10,000 per trade. It's crazy. It's like
Wow.
I mean not trade but per game. It's like I was sitting at a table one time. The minimum was like $500, and I put $500 for whatever reason. I was drunk in Vegas, and I was like, all right, let's do this. I put like $500. I win. I see this guy next to me. He has like $10,000, so he wins 20,000. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave this table.
Yeah. Are you a Forex trader?
Exactly. Are you a trader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
But
No,
yeah, no,
I've never even heard of that game before. So it's just 2 cards, and then you just whoever has a higher number,
yeah.
they just
Basically,
win.
it's like war. Like you're playing war basically, but
Nice.
it's more. I mean, it's basically war. But the thing is, like and like if you go over like a certain number, if you go over 10, it just resets back to like 0.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how you would play it, and then you have the option to like surrender or stuff like that. So it's basically war. It's just an Asian war game, basically. It's like
Right.
war, but Asian background. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I think that game actually works really good with the martingale system for sure.
Shoot, gonna have to try that when this COVID's over. I played
Definitely.
it. I played in a basketball tournament in Vegas twice, and good times, man. So all Asian tournament too. All
Oh
Asian
yeah,
tournament. Yeah, because
nice.
I'm half Filipino, so
Oh, dude, I was
yeah.
wondering, yeah, because I thought you kind of looked a little Filipino.
Yep, half. Yeah, my
Nice,
mom,
dude.
mom Filipino, dad white. You know how that goes. So
Nicely. So basketball is just you were born into it, bro.
it was my blood. Yeah, that break dancing and freaking DJing. Those three. So
Tight. That's tight. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, I definitely
yeah.
want to go back to Vegas eventually once COVID's done. I was thinking, we could probably do like a K2 trip out there because I'm sure you've seen David in the chat, the D-Rez.
Mhm.
That dude loves Vegas too, so we're definitely gonna plan a trip at some point. So
Count me in. I'm in. I'm in.
definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. We definitely have to do a meetup because it's just been. I feel like we've all been hanging out online for so long that
Right.
it's about time for us to actually meet in person.
dude, I have this nagging suspicion that by like March, this whole like COVID's gonna like die down. Watch, like, or at least
Yeah.
like the I don't know how to explain it, but I have this gut feeling that COVID's just gonna disappear. Like just majestically as it appeared, and I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So
I could see that too. I think with the vaccine, as the vaccine gets, widely produced and widely given out, then it will definitely people will stop getting sick, and then the people who already have antibodies will just end up not getting sick either. We're just gonna get better from there. So hopefully that's the case in March, so that by summer we'll be ready to go back to normal life for the most part.
hell yeah, bro, hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, dude. So yeah, it was good talking to you. I gotta hop in this next session. I just realized it's 7 already, so I gotta go message the next person.
No worries, brother. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I'll see you tomorrow during the session.
All right.